You guys are in trouble because I'm in far too good a mood. And you know what happens then. That's right. You get bear in your face. That sounded bad. This is a family show. Often imitated, never duplicated. Nah-eh. That fool with no hair that shouts like Ric Flair. What? You heard me. The Raider Bear! Hot Raiders! Alexa, hush. Well, I even got her up on hush now. Girl, hush. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. I appreciate you all tuning in to see your boy, R8RBEAR Live. And normally, before I begin the show, I start saying hi to everyone and all that kind of stuff. But then, traditions first. R8RBEAR Live. First comment. Woo! MVP tonight goes to. I pissed him off with my trash talking last time. Justin K. What's up, DK? Welcome to the show. Clearly, the undisputed, sorta working his way back to the top as the number one contender. Second place, my silver medal. Okay, and writing number one, like I'm first, that doesn't count. Okay. In second place with the number one, Vincent Rubalcaba. Welcome to the show, brother. Third place with a little bit of bear. Ted Thane. What's up, Ted? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR. Appreciate you, brother. Honorable mention to our Raiderette, Corinna Trujillo, who also hit me with a bear. Much love, sweetheart. Welcome to the show. John the Lion Leon right behind him, and Paul Summers bringing in my first comment from YouTube. What's up, Paul? Bringing the heat tonight. What's up, brother? He gave us a bear. What's up, Paul? Mark Vargas, what's up, man? Mark gave me a good bear. Vincent Rubalcaba said, good to see you. Good to see you back, brother. Mark Vargas, the family's doing fantastic. I mean, better than, I'm spoiled. I have no other way to say it. I'm spoiled. Life has spoiled me. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm like everyone else. I have my troubles. I have things that give me pain, make me cry, just like everyone else. But it's been awesome. My family's awesome. They're doing great. They're more about taking care of me than the other way around. A lot of people think it's the other way around because I'm the bear, but no, in reality, they take care of me just as much. Candy Dimnioski, I'm glad to see you, honey. You were the winner of our auction the other day. I don't know if you were aware of that. So just be FYI, you won our last auction just the other night with the patch package from the R8RBEAR. Tell your husband I apologize for that joke. Welcome to the show. Alfonso Cortez Jr., what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you coming in. Let's see. Bear, thank you and Mama Bear for my shirts. Nice. They're great. Right on, Joe. I appreciate that you let me know you got them. And listen, Joe, when you get a chance, put one of them on. Just take a picture for me and tag me so I can add it to my familia. I would really appreciate it. All right. So, and we're going to get to the news now. I think I've said hi to everyone, so I'm caught up. So let's get to this business. So first and foremost, we have $32.7 million in cap space right now. $32.7 million. Now, at $32.7 million, I want to give you an idea. Let me pull this up because I did some homework for you guys earlier. And now I'm just trying to find it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so a person like Jimmy Garoppolo, who just signed his contract, he's going to get $22 million. That's his base. Okay, now Chandler Jones, $7 million. Colton Miller, $14 million. Devontae Adams, 6 million. I thought that was surprising. Hunter Renfrow, 6.5. He actually makes a little more than Devontae Adams will in that 1 year. Also, Josh Jacobs, 10 million. Okay, and then I look at Hunter. Oh, well, it's actually he doesn't. Devontae Adams makes a little bit more than Hunter Renfrow at 14.7 million. And Hunter Renfrow is right behind him, though, at 13,126. So 13,126,000. Anyway, Max Crosby, 12 million. Josh Jacobs, 10 million. And then that's it. After that there's a strong drop off. So let me give you how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 players we're paying in double figures. Just 7. Now, after that, you've got Jacoby Myers, surprisingly, because he just joined the team. It's 7 million. Andre James, the little scat back / wide receiver in the slot. Andre James that we just picked up, just under 7 million at 6.9. Bilal Nichols, 6 million 6. Marcus Epps, the safety we just picked up, 4 million 7, so 4.7. Daniel Carlson, 4.25. I'm sorry, I'm giving you all these numbers. Just bear with me for a second. But do you notice we're way below double figures now? Now you look at Jermaine Elemenor, 3 million. Brandon Faison, 2 million. Brandon Bolden, 2 million. Austin Hooper, the nice tight end we just brought in, 2 million. Robert Spillane, the nice linebacker we just brought in, 2 million. Jerry Tillery, the defensive line we brought in, 2 million, 2 million, 2 million. Over and over again, I see 2 million. Now we're getting into the 1 millions, and that's more than half the team. Okay, so what I'm getting at is with 30 some odd million in cap space, that's a lot of work to get done, man. I mean, you can get a lot of work done with 32.7 million when you're paying all those other guys, jack. So I don't know what they're necessarily going to do with that much cash, but there's a lot they'll be able to do. A lot. I mean, with free agency coming up, they're going to be players big time. So that kid, the wide receiver Hopkins with the Cardinals, I don't think that's out of play, because with that much cap space, you realistically could fit him in no problem. All you have to do is just you do an escrow account, which all football teams do. You put a certain amount in it, and then you give him a certain amount per year, but he gets the rest of the bulk of it throughout the contract. It's protected by the bank. Mark can do that, tonight. Done. I love it. And then make moves to give them other things to get up to the 3. Here's Hunter Renfrow and our number 7. Give us your 3 and your 5th rounder and Anthony Hopkins. Is it Anthony? I want to say Anthony Hopkins, but I'm forgetting his first name for some reason. I don't feel confident that I'm remembering the correct first name. Oso Raider, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. It's just around the corner. My guy, Oso Raider, president, TNBC crew, is having his 6th annual kick off the season football booster club bash in Arlington, Texas, this April 15th and 16th. That's right. It's a week away. Okay. Literally a week away. And he asked me to come and host the thing. I was like, you're going to give me a microphone in front of a bunch of crazy Raider fans? That's dangerous, man. You see what I do with the podcast. Don't let me get out. I mean, well, anyway, some of you know, like Bob Stannard, he knows what I'll do. All right, we'll see. It's going to be fun. So don't miss it. Arlington, Texas, TNBC crew, all Raider fans, all booster clubs are welcome. There's no hangups about that. Please come and enjoy the time. It's free. There's going to be events for the kids. There's going to be a lot of food and vendors to buy nice Raider merch at. It's just going to be a great time. There's going to be a lot of live music. Don't miss it. April 15th to the 16th, Arlington, Texas. Don't miss it. For more information, you can hit my guy Oso, and he also has his secretary in TNBC. She can help you too, but I forget her name. I apologize, but she was wonderful. She got back to me like super quick, and so TNBC crew, the great people, they really handle their business. What's up, R8RBEAR? Hey, James Walker. Good to see you, brother. Hi, Princetta. Tremail, what's up? Welcome to the show. Troy Gill, what's up, brother? Miguel Garcia, 559 Fresno, Cali in the house. What's up? Mark Vargas, Andre Carter. I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's an upgrade on Hunter Renfrow. We have to slow down on the love of players. I get kind of tired of that. I love players, but at the same time, If you love a player so much that you can't see that someone else is better than them at the same position, you're just being silly. You know what I mean? I really like Hunter Renfrow. I like him a lot. But if you have a shot at a guy that's more experienced, physically stronger, and faster, you know, and has shown to be a quality wide receiver in the slot. I mean, I'm sorry, he is better than Hunter Renfrow. Period. I don't care what numbers Hunter Renfrow's put up thus far. You know what I mean? By comparison, because I think they're actually better. But that's because Andre wasn't getting the same shot because he was with the Chargers. They have a lot of wide receivers. So he wasn't breaking the lineup, but the guy could play. You know what I mean? And when they had a rash of injuries with the Chargers and he had to go into spot duty, he played incredible. And also, before I forget, I don't even like saying this because I just want to get it out of the way because I know I have to say it. So I just want to get it out of the way. Please consider subscribing and following me on YouTube. You see, I stumble every time because I'm humble. You know what I mean? I can't help it. I'm like cocky and humble at the same time. But if you would please consider subscribing to my YouTube page, I would really appreciate it. And please share so I can continue to increase my audience. I would really appreciate it because I feel like I bring something special to Raider Nation fan base, bringing you the news, but bringing it to you in a healthier way, not with fighting with my audience or using foul language or just acting like a know-it-all and just for, 30 minutes and then signing off. No, I like to hang out with my people. I want to answer your questions. When I'm wrong, I come on and I say so. When I'm right, I come on and I say so. Pat myself on the back. So if you would, please consider following me on YouTube and on Facebook. Consider a subscription to Raider Bear Family page. It's just $5 a month and you can cancel at any time, but you won't want to because we provide to charities all over the world with coins sent to us through Facebook and soon through YouTube because I will be able to collect coins on YouTube once I raise my audience. But once I do that, we will get started on that too. And I really appreciate all of you tuning in and much love to you. And let me keep it rolling here now. Tana Moku, what's up? Welcome to the show. Always good to see you, Tana. Thomas Stevens, yo, Bear, bless you, brother. Right back at you, Thomas Stevens. I appreciate you, brother. I always appreciate my blessings from Raider Nation. So Raider, we're ready, man. We're excited. We've got our hotel set up. We've got our plane tickets. We're ready to go, man. It's just about packing now. We're going to come let it go for TNBC crew. DeAndre Hopkins. There we go. Vincent, thank you. I was totally brain farting on that one. Anthony Duvernay says SBA for life. Raider Tone, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Good to see you, man. See, Raider Tone can tell you I did a little thing for him called Raider Nation Explosion. We had a really good time. You know what I mean? And everything went well with their guys at M&M Productions. Check them out. They have another big show coming up here real soon. I think they're on Raider Nation Explosion 4, right? I was the first. But, you never top the first. That's what they say. No. Woo. Patting on the back again. Raider Nation, I think Explosion 4, I think it is. So check that out. Steeler Val, what's up, love? Welcome to the show. Mark Vargas, appreciate that. John LaJoy, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Jim Vandalin tuning in. What's up, brother? Oh, no, it doesn't matter that you were late. No big deal. Mark Vargas agrees with me. He said exactly. Mike Henderson. What's up, Hendu? Kenneth Parsons, Raider Rick Flair Bear. My only worry is at linebacker. It needs to be addressed in the draft. Beaver nuts. Yes. I got to watch it now with Kenneth Parsons. He's getting like my guy, Naked Raider, and just throwing things into the comments. And suddenly I read it, because I just read the whole thing. John Leon, the Titans and the Raiders are going after the number 3 overall. What will it take to get that pick? I said trade Jacobs for the number 3 overall and keep our number 7 overall. John Leon, that's a tough deal because whenever a team is going to give up a high first-round pick and you have a first-round pick, it's just kind of a tradition. You give up your first-round pick for their first-round pick. That's just part of the deal. And then you give them other stuff. Now, I don't know that someone would value a running back as a first-round pick, even if it's Josh Jacobs, because although we know Josh Jacobs is a first-round pick, we love him and we know he's a first-round pick. Other teams have to negotiate him not as a first-round pick because he's got a few years under his belt already. He's got a few injuries already. He's going to be due a big contract, blah, 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 blah. So they would downplay him. I think they would expect at least like our second or a third, either one of those, either a 2 or a 3, a high 3, and Josh Jacobs. And I don't want to pay that. And not to mention, I think that next season might be the season we're actually competitive. And then the season after that, we won't be again, because we're probably going to lose Josh Jacobs to some sort of BS free agency nonsense that Josh McDaniels will fall into. He'll either trade him or franchise tag him one more time. I think, to my knowledge, you can do it 3 times. I've heard that the NFL and free agency frowns on it. You know what I mean? But that doesn't really matter. I mean, they can do it. You know what I mean? They're just discouraging teams from doing it because it's just denying players an opportunity to go and make their value on the market. And then by doing that, you devalue them. Then when they make it to the market, finally, their value isn't 15 million, which it was 2 years ago. Now it's 8. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping he avoids that, but I doubt it. Tanamoku, I appreciate the share. Hey, Mama Bear. Doc Raider. Appreciate the love, brother. Stephen Bobo, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. My guy, Stephen Bobo, has lost the weight of a normal human. He's like just shedded the weight of like another person. Appreciate you, Stephen. That's impressive, man. Keep telling the world. Tanamoku got me on that one. Yes, Anthony Hopkins was in Silence of the Lambs. I got my Anthony's and my Hopkins mixed up. There's a wide receiver in the news that we're after. His name is DeAndre Hopkins, and I called him Anthony Hopkins. I think I'm wrong about that. Bear, what is your final draft prospect for that 7th pick? Okay, well, Thomas Stevens, real quick, let me just run over the rumor that's going on right now. The rumor is that we were trying to blow smoke on everyone about Will Levis by not going to his pro day at all, not sending anyone to visit him at all. In fact, from what I understand, we only sent one person to see Will Levis one time, and that was it. And people felt like that was their way of trying to hide that, they don't want to pick him. And then with the news running like that and his agent getting involved, and I can't tell you how I know this, I'm just telling you, Will Levis's agent played nervous with the Raiders. So I think maybe they've had some kind of talks to where they were comfortable with taking Levis, but instead of moving up to 3, they feel like he's going to fall to 7 because all this hype that we keep hearing, you got to remember that's Todd McShay and all those guys, Victor Furr, talking a lot of smoke. For example, it was Victor Furr who just said a few days ago, like last week, that the Raiders were out on Jalen Carter. And now we find out the Raiders have a visit scheduled with him. So, you got to take any of these reports you get, even from me sometimes, with a grain of salt, because even though I know what's going on and I follow it every day and I have my snitch ninjas, there are times when I'm just wrong. There are times when I get the information and I'm just off. You know what I mean? Just like these draft prospect guys, they say, oh, this guy's going here and that guy's going there. And then when they're wrong, none of them show up the next day for video. They just wait till next year.
Just to clarify, I am not one of those snitch agents. Mama Bear ain't no snitch.
Well, I would snitch if it meant I'd get a Mama Bear. God dog it. I'm going to marry you one of these days, girl. You keep being good like that. So Thomas, my final pick, honestly, is they're going to go with Anthony Richardson. I think all the Will Levis stuff is smoke. I got it like a month ago from an inside source that I know and trust, that the Raiders are you're going to hear about the Raiders all over the place. You're going to hear about all this stuff with the Raiders, that even that kid O'Donnell and all this other stuff, but they're going to pick Anthony Richardson. They're going to try to make some deal to move up to 3 with the Cardinals. And if they can't do it, they'll look at Will Levis if he falls to 7. And if he doesn't, the Jalen Carter thing is still in play at 7. So people keep saying, pick one, pick a scenario. Which one of those things is going to happen? I can't do that because it's up to them with the Raiders organization. But I know you know that, but more importantly, it's because the situation is fluid. We just don't know what the situation is going to be like at the draft. You know what I mean? We don't know who's going to do what. You know what I mean? Not to mention, we don't know that someone won't draft up in front of the Cardinals, because right now we're in a battle, from what I hear, with the Cardinals to get the Cardinals number 3 pick with the Tennessee Titans, who want it bad. because I think they want Anthony Richardson. So we might be playing, watch, we might be playing, possum, playing a little bit of spy games, make the Titans really get into this battle with us for the number 3 spot, while all along we're sitting at 7, cool, thinking Will Levis is going to fall to us at 7. You see, because most of the analysts, most of the draft people, most of your football scouts don't have Will Levis this high. They don't. They don't think that he should be ranked this high. It's not that he's not capable, because he's got the frame, he's got the strength, but they think he's not as accurate as he should be. They think he's a little bit too cocky, so that maybe he won't learn at the next level, but he's got some Jay Cutler in him, where he's going to hear so much press from people saying he's the next gift to a, egg white omelet. Next best gift to an egg white omelet. But he thinks he's so good that, hey, just show me the offense and get out of my way. You know what I mean? And, to me, you got to tolerate some of that. You know what I mean? You do, no matter who we pick, because these kids are coming up in the first round. They're coming up with their, likeness in video games before they're even paid. So how could you not be a little bit arrogant, a little bit cocky, think you're the man? You know what I mean? So, and then honestly, that's what puts a chip on your shoulder to be the best. So, I don't mind these reports that, oh, we're hearing that he's arrogant. So what? It's not a culture contest. It's football. Johnny Page, what's up? Welcome to the show. But Thomas Stevens, I think they're going to go with Anthony Richardson. I think they're going to fight for the spot at 3. And if by weird quirk, because there are those that even think Anthony Richardson could fall to 7, because most of the teams at the last minute will remember that Anthony Richardson has only started 13 games. And in the body of those 13 games, he runs more than he throws. That's a warning sign at the next level, that he doesn't know how to read defenses, so he tries to solve problems with his legs. And when you do that at the NFL level, you get turned into Robert Griffin III. No bueno. Johnny Page, what's up? Welcome to the show. Hey, there's the Naked Raider. See, I got to be careful what he writes. And with the 7th pick, the mighty Las Vegas Raiders select Christian Gonzalez of Oregon. Michael Guerrero, my Tio, is telling me that that's the way to go. He loves that kid, and they're talking about his defense against pass rating percentage, blah 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 blah. That he's incredible, and so I like all that. But at the same time, I tell all of you, you got to remember, no matter what position it is in the college level, whether it's quarterback, cornerback, defensive back, whatever the case may be, okay, they're playing against college level guys. Do you see what I'm saying? And when they're playing against college level guys, they're just showing elite talent against them. We don't know if they're going to be able to do that at the next level. Do you see what I'm saying? So all these, if you want to give me names and tell me to look at excuse me, I have hiccups, and want me to look at video, I will. When you guys give me names, especially if it's one I haven't heard of, I'll watch video. Obviously, I've heard of Christian Gonzalez. I've seen his video. The Oregon Duck. He's nice. But I go off video more than I go off stats. I want to see, does he get in and out of his break quickly? Does he have good hands? Does he turn his hips? Or does he cheat and try to look inside at the quarterback and then try to make up with speed, et cetera, et cetera? I look for those things. Does he get his hands on receivers? And if he does he do it quickly? Or does he pull jerseys, and get away with it at the college level, but he won't at the NFL level? You see what I mean? I'm looking for those things. Now, when I look at Gonzalez on video, I see everything. I see all the tools, but I don't see Charles Woodson. I don't see Charles Woodson. And to me, that's the standard. Charles Woodson obviously went on to play great, became a Hall of Famer, was a great Packer and a great Raider. Okay. But why shouldn't I hold this guy to that standard? You want guys at the first round pick that you're paying the most money, especially top 10. Okay. That guy's going to be rich like that. Okay. If he's smart with his money, he'll be able to take care of his family until he dies. And I mean, like all of them. Cousins, nieces, grandma, great grandma, everybody. Okay. Now, having said that, does Christian Gonzalez jump off the screen to you, say, the way a Charles Woodson would? And to me, the answer is no. I like him. I like him a lot. I really do. I like him a lot. But unless you see Hall of Famer, unless you see Pro Bowler for sure, And I'm just not sure with him. You don't spend that kind of money on a defensive back. You just don't. Johnny Page said, we will sign Jacobs long-term. Him and Crosby are too valuable. Johnny Page, welcome to the show. I would say you're flat wrong. A great profile picture, by the way. The young lady's beautiful, and you look sharp. But I would say this to you. What have the actions been of Josh McDaniels? He first he meets Josh Jacobs. First he meets him. He puts him in the most useless, worthless Hall of Fame preseason game there is, the very first one, where in my opinion, it's almost the most dangerous game because you're out there with a bunch of guys that are going to be working at Home Depot in a few days. That are pissed that they're going to be working at Home Depot in a few days. And now they've got a shot at Josh Jacobs. I'm a linebacker and I work in the wood section of Home Depot and they don't think I can play. Well, I'm going to go in there and hit Josh Jacobs and show him. You don't expose Josh Jacobs and stuff like that, man. And I guarantee you, I'm absolutely serious. I know some of you were laughing at that joke, but I'm being deathly serious. There are guys who know they're not going to make it to the NFL, but they get to where they can get scouted and they're in those games and they say, hey, look at that guy. That guy's a real NFL player. I'm going to show them what I have. You know what I mean? And you risk getting Josh Jacobs torn up in a game that means absolutely nothing. Less than nothing. You know what I mean? Just, then his time for his re-up on his package, his 5th-year option, they just go, nah. You know what I mean? And just flat franchise tag him. And don't forget the other people that they said no on the 5th-year option. So I don't see it. Steve Marchand is going real well. I appreciate that. Welcome to the show. Brian Balding, how you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Will Levis is coming to Vegas for a visit. Mark Vargas, that's true. I think they're doing their due diligence. I think maybe their agent just had his panic, and maybe there was some deal in place verbally with the Raiders that they were going to look at him, seriously. And then the fact that they weren't, I think, made the agent uncomfortable. And what are the Raiders supposed to do? Say, oh, well, we're just doing that as swerve games to keep people on their toes that we might do this or we might do this, keep them guessing. Well, instead, they went ahead and folded the tent and said, all right, bring the kid in. Corinna Trujillo, you do that in order to control his contract. You don't want to just let him go or let him go into free agency. So you do that to control his contract. But more importantly, it's not to negotiate Josh Jacobs. It's to keep him here as long as you can. Yeah, Mark Vargas, exactly. It's all rumors until it happens. And so listen to this. The Raiders own the 7th overall pick in the NFL draft, and one which could allow them to draft a long-term quarterback project, one to succeed Jimmy Garoppolo one day. Head coach Josh McDaniels spoke earlier this month about the team's desire to land a more permanent solution than the 31-year-old quarterback. Now, though the 2023 class top 4 passers may already be off the board, that by the time Vegas makes their pick in the scenario, a defensive prospect could become appealing for them. In other words, if CJ Stroud, Bryce Young, Will Levis, and Anthony Richardson somehow all come off the board before it gets to the Raiders at 7, Carter has cemented his status as one of, if not the top defenders in this year's class. Interestingly, the news of Carter's visit comes just 2 days after Vic Tafur of The Athletic reported that the Raiders no longer had any interest in the All-American under consideration to be drafted. And then they went on this long article talking about how it must be related to Henry Ruggs and they don't want to go down the Henry Ruggs path anymore. And, oh, it must be about Averett and the defensive backs. And, oh, it must be about Lindsey, that other guy that they picked up that they ended up sending to the Dolphins and he was a bum and blah, 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 blah. No, wrong. Carter is still in play. Or is that, more draft, moves? I don't have anything I could say on that. Thomas Stevens, that's why I think they should just, if they're going to bite the bullet, bite the bullet. I think the real reason that the Raiders were rumored to be off Carter is because I think there's hesitation there. And so what happens is a reporter finds out they have hesitation and they turn that into off the board. You know what I mean? Which a lot of people are kind of getting on Vic Tafur because he's a voice. I mean, that guy, people know that name. Vic Tafur has been given a lot of respect in the community that is, fans of the NFL. And I just think he's way off on this one. It was one thing you could have reported it the way I would have. And that's that the Raiders have, shown a lack of genuine interest, or they're not showing that they're going to push hard or move up to try to get Carter. Okay, well, if Carter's there, you know what I mean? This thing with being afraid because of someone else's history, that doesn't have anything to do with Dave Ziegler. Troy Gill, honestly, I hate saying that because it's boring to the fans. And I know that the fans want to see us trade up and do things that are exciting. They want to see us take Carter at 7 or something like that. No one really likes trading down. But the truth is, trading down can oftentimes be the absolute smartest move to make your team better. As an owner, I challenge any one of you watching me to pretend you're an owner for a moment and I'm the general manager and I'm just trying to talk you into this. And I say to you this: would you like me to try to find more talent at each position with only 8 to 10 guys that I brought in that I can look at? Or would you rather I brought in 15 to 20? Do you see what I'm saying? Draft down, draft down, draft down, get picks, get picks, get picks. Now we get 2 or 3 second rounders instead of 1. Now we get 3 or 4 third rounders instead of 3. Now we get 3 fifth rounders instead of 2, and so on and so forth. And we do have those compensatory picks, and they're nice. We have an extra 3 and an extra 5 because of that. We're all excited about that. Let's be honest, because you can find starters in the 3rd and the 5th round. And so us getting those extra picks, that's awesome. And I couldn't understand why everybody was so mad that our compensatory picks were low. So what? The only thing that I was mad about it was that the Niners got more. The fact that the Niners had a great run, a great season, and then you give them more compensatory picks than you give the Raiders. To me, that just showed favoritism. But then again, I've said it before, you can't get too mad about that because the NFL is an independent league. If you want to say they fix things, I say to you, they don't fix games. What they do is strategically maneuver things to fall into place the way they would like. That's why every once in a blue moon, you get outcomes that you don't expect. But for the most part, you do. For example, the Super Bowl we had a few years back, quite a few years back, but it was the Panthers and the Broncos. They didn't want that. And it was a terrible Super Bowl. Cam Newton and one right tackle, just gains Tourette's out of nowhere and can't block anybody. And suddenly both teams are just going back and forth, kicking field goals. It was ridiculous. Just one of the most snore fest Super Bowls ever. You know what I mean? And they just don't want that to happen again. They don't want no matter how well the Lions play this year, they don't want the Lions playing the Buccaneers because nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see those two teams, period. They're just boring. You know what I mean? So in effect, we don't want the league to be fixed, but deep down we kind of do because we don't want the teams that bore us to be in the title games. Let's see. What's up, Gary? That would just be another dumb move. Richardson is so overrated. His combine was awful. He can't make NFL type passes. Carrie, welcome to the show. Carrie, I would argue with you that although I feel like Anthony Richardson and Will Levis are way overrated, I would argue that Bryce Young and CJ Stroud are too. That whatever you're really looking for is who Carrie can come out to the NFL level and become more. See, all these guys we watch in the combine, we watch at the college level, all we're really seeing is them running around in their kid level still. They haven't advanced yet to NFL level. They haven't ascended, so to speak. And what you're doing as scouts and coaches is you're trying to see which one of these guys is going to ascend, bloom, and become something more than what they were in school. So when you say, oh, they can't do this and they can't do that, I don't have any argument for you. You know what I mean? Other than to say you're right. They bring in guys that have never worked in the just getting the ball from center. They come in and just all they've learned in college is how to take the ball from shotgun. I mean, the way they did Marcus Mariota when he was in college was just a travesty. You know what I mean? They put him in this high octane offense that was all show and go. And they didn't teach him how to play action. They didn't teach him how to take the ball at center. They didn't teach him how to turn his back to a defense and time it and fake and come back. They didn't teach him anything. You know what I mean? So Marcus Mariota has been literally learning at the NFL level. That's why he's been struggling while at the same time looking good from time to time, and then struggling and then looking confused from time to time because he's learning at the NFL level. That's what they're asking a lot of these cats to do. And it goes all the way back to Andrew Luck, Tim Tebow, excuse me. I don't know why Andrew Luck popped in my head. He was a good quarterback. I'm not talking about him. But Tim Tebow, you know, he was used at Florida. He's never taught how to read defenses. He was never really taught how to audible and adjust when you see a defense that will stop the offensive play you called, because they didn't have to do any of that. Even if a team called a defense that would stop whatever call Tim Tebow had called, they would improvise and still get yardage and touchdowns because they were just way more talented than the team in front of them on defense. So then he comes to the pros and he sucks. You know what I mean? Now, could that mean what you just said is 100% right? Yes. But could Andrew Luck, could Tim Tebow have come to the next level and become something more? Maybe, but we'll never know, mainly because the head coach, the very head coach who drafted him, got fired right after you drafted him. You know who his coach was? Josh McDaniels. Hopefully he'll get the same outcome with us. Fired. Rude Boy Raider 305 in the house. What's up, brother? I'd rather get Tyree Wilson or Andre Carter, the second edge, to pair with Mad Max. Tyree Wilson, I agree with Kenneth Parsons. Andre Carter the second, I don't know. I don't know if I rate him quite that high, but Tyree Wilson I like. Now, and when I say that high, I just mean like lower in the first round. I don't mean that he's not good. I just mean I'm thinking more like, 11th to the Titans, something like that. But anyway, I like Tyree Wilson a lot. In fact, Tyree Wilson is the name now that you're hearing because Carter's falling down the board. And so they're saying Tyree Wilson might be the next defensive end name off the board after that kid Anderson. So it'd be Anderson, this kid Tyree Wilson, and then maybe Carter. So unless the NFL scouts just don't care about that whole legal off the field stuff. And to me, I don't know why you would. You know what I mean? Well, I mean, that's not true. I do know why you would. I mean, because it sometimes can be an indicator. I know people don't like this, but because it's like a stereotype, but it can be an indicator that the guy is just not good off the field. In other words, that once he becomes an NFL guy and has all that money, he's going to do worse things than what he did before he got to the NFL. And I just don't know if I, consider that the case. They thought that Randy Moss was going to come in with all these problems. He ended up being, for the most part, a pretty good pro that had long career. They thought Terrell Pryor, who had a problem with something legally with his car and all that, they thought he was going to be a headache. He never really was. Cam Newton was accused of stealing computers or laptops or something like that. Came into the NFL, had a pretty good career, took a team to a Super Bowl. So. Tanamoku, I agree that you got to put someone, and Kenneth Parsons, I agree you got to put someone across from Max Crosby, but that's a given to me. Now, do we feel like they've done that, though, with the kid they brought in from the Niners and this kid, Jerry Tillery from San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers? They may feel like we've already filled that void. Okay, Steeler Val. That sounds interesting. I love ice cream. My guy, Winchy. Levis visited the Raiders today, and I hear it went sideways. Richardson is coming in on Friday. Carter's agent has made it clear that Carter will only visit the top 10 teams in the draft. Well, I mean, they're pushing back against this theme that he's going to fall down. That's why. And I don't blame them. You know what I mean? I mean, he's got to protect his client. As far as Carter's agent, he's got to protect his client. As far as Richardson going in on Friday, I find that just like almost amusing. How many times? I mean, they've already been out to dinner with him twice. They've had 3 scouts at his combine. I mean, how many times you got to talk to him? My guy, Winchy. What's up, Winchy? Ted Thing said, I honestly think Richardson or Carter would be wasted first-round picks for the Raiders. I'll eat crow if I'm wrong, but I'm seeing too many red flags. It's character things. You know what I mean? Things that you say are character things. Now with Richardson, I don't think it's character. With Carter, I think it's character. With Richardson, it's just a lack of experience. He's a nice guy and a very intelligent guy. You hear that about him all the time. Well-spoken, nice guy. So you want to get out of looking at just images of him and thinking of him as this stoic, hardcore rapper type. He's not like that. He's very verbal. He's a very personable, smiling, nice guy. Defense is what we really need. D-line or linebacker. Thomas Stevens, I said this on other shows, so forgive me if I sound repetitive because I do want to answer your questions. So I'm just going to be brief, but skill positions tend to go first because they tend to go first off the board. So when you want skill positions, wide receivers, tight ends, offensive linemen, running back, etc., people on the offensive side of the ball, you're going to go deal with that first. And they've done that. You know what I mean? Now, I would argue that they've dealt with defense too, though. Too often people are racing, right, to say, oh, we didn't get enough. We're not getting defense. Why are we not getting defense? I mean, have you guys been looking at the free agents that we've brought in? Because I see DeAndre Carter and Alex Bars. I can understand that. But we also brought in John Jenkins, the huge defensive tackle. We brought in Duke Shelley, the cornerback, formerly of the Vikings, a real tough guy. We brought in David Long from the Super Bowl champion Rams. We brought in Joaquin Johnson at safety. We brought in Jordan Willis, who I mentioned from the Niners previously at defensive end. That's 5 guys right there. Then linebacker Curtis Bolton. We brought him back. Well, not back, but we brought him in. Let's see. We brought Jerry Tillery, defensive tackle. That's 7 guys. Roderick Teamer, we re-signed him. That's 8 guys. Unless my math is bad. Robert Spillane, that's 9 guys. The other linebacker from the Steelers. Brandon Faison, Marcus Epps. I mean, we've brought in a lot of guys, you know what I mean, on defense. But we just primarily, unfortunately, well, I'm not primarily, but unfortunately, we brought in about the same amount of offense, if not more. So it looks like we're making a balance, and people don't want balance. They want defense. And I kind of agree. We've just been bad at defense for way too long. I would have made a massive overhaul of the defense. Troy Gill says he hopes that we pick up Carter to team with Mad Max. I kind of hope so too, because if you're going to always say, okay, I'm not going to draft someone because of character, now you're sort of building a bias. I'm not talking about anything racial. I'm just talking about if you're constantly doing that, you're going to have players that, fell into hard times, made mistakes, but they're good people. And they're great players, and you're passing on them because they had 1 DUI in college, which, by the way, I've never had it, but by the way, a lot of guys have, gotten in their car a little too tipsy after a party, driven home, safety without tickets and everything. They just didn't get caught. They just didn't get into trouble. Don't forget, Josh Jacobs drove into a wall in Las Vegas and crashed his car into a wall. He played and turned out to be an exemplary athlete and citizen. You know what I mean? Didn't he? Yes, he did. So, you can have things like that happen to you. It doesn't mean necessarily now you're going to turn into a gangster and turn the league into Al Capone and sell drugs or something crazy like that. Sometimes it's just crazy how over the top people get with their concern about someone when Carter can play football. That's what's supposed to matter. For vastly different reasons, I see Richards as a bust as Russell. Because it would just be a more polished version of Jamarcus Russell. I've heard that argument made before. They feel like he's Jamarcus Russell, just more polished. Now, the reason I push back on that is because, one, Jamarcus Russell was fat. And also he was, kind of a fraud and brought in when Al Davis was kind of at the border of going a little. And so I don't see that here. I see a young kid who, yes, he has raw talent, but with a 31-year-old quarterback in front of him, he's not going to dispute him for the starting lineup, not even the second spot. And he can sit there at 3 and learn and then be elevated to 2 the following year and then potentially to 1 mid-second year or, fully go through a second year and then be made the starter in the 3rd year. Yeah, Ted Thane, I think the wisest thing is to trade back. You know what I mean? Because no matter what pick you make, we can talk about all these guys till we're blue in the face. Does one of these picks really change the life for the Raiders? Does bringing in Christian Gonzalez really change the life for the Raiders? No, he's just one guy. You know what I mean? Even if he does turn out to be a Charles Woodson type, he's just one guy. And I happen to like Trayvon Merrick a lot. So the idea of pairing Christian Gonzalez with that guy sounds intense. I mean, that would be nice. Trayvon Merrick playing the deep stuff and Christian Gonzalez playing the underneath stuff. I mean, that sounds nice. Bear just got off my R8RBEAR gear. Oh, nice. Super stoked. Quality merch, fast service, and they threw in some extra goods. Nice. Yeah. Anyone, if you go to rn4lifer.com, that's rn4lifer.com. Make sure you tell him you found out about him watching the Raider Bear and Raider Bear Live. And what he does when he hears that is he throws in a couple extra goodies for you guys just for funsies because he appreciates that he's getting extra customers from my show. So whenever you can, let him know Raider Bear sent you. Edgard, Lucky De Leon, Joseph Bear, think we stay at 7 and pick up defense. That would be nice, but I wouldn't even mind if we just stay at 7 and pick up Skoronski. To me, that makes more sense. Go with the big offensive lineman from Northwestern. Way less bust potential. And then from there on in the second and the 3 picks we have in the third, you go defense, defense, defense. Because the second round pick, you know we have an offensive coach. You know he's gonna think offense. I would be willing to bet you money like that LSU wide receiver if he falls there. Better, I'm telling you, Josh McDaniels, an offensive guy at heart, man. He's gonna pull the trigger on that. You know what I mean? And if he does, hey, maybe we're bringing in another weapon, and then you still have those 3 3s and 2 5s. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of guys that could end up being starters. And you're just still in the 5th round. You still have 6 and 7. So I like it so far, but I do understand the idea to trade back. If they trade back, I'll applaud. And I mean that seriously. Breeze Raiders Nation. Hello, Bear. Tomorrow is my birthday. 55 years old and living my life. Nice. Breeze Raiders Nation. You're looking good, man. 55? Nice. Hey, man, it don't crack, huh? You need defensive tackles and linebackers. Mark Vargas, I got to agree. But I think we'll be able to take care of that with the draft and free agency. And I don't know if you were here during the early part of the show, but we have a little over $30 million in cap space still. That's a lot of cheddar to spread around. When you consider how many guys we have on our roster that make double figures in millions per season, it's only like 5 guys. After that, it's 2 million, 6 million, 7 million, 2 million, 1 million, 5 million, 4 million, 3 million, like that. Chump change. With 30 plus million, we can sign a whole bunch of guys. So we have the money. We're okay. We're going to put people in place and find talent. Now the quarterbacks are untouchable because there will be a flag roughing the passer. Not only are they untouchable, Corinna, but I want to piggyback your comment and just say I prefer it. I don't mind saying it. People are saying they're untouchable, that they're going to be treated like with kid gloves and all these things as like a little shot at them. I don't think we should be taking shots at the quarterbacks or the NFL, pun intended, taking shots. I don't think quarterbacks should be taking shots, and I don't think we should be making verbal shots because the truth is the NFL that we knew from the 80s and 90s is dead. You can't look for the Ronnie Lott guy anymore. There is no more guys allowed to just run in there and blast people because when you do it, even if the hit's legal, the refs will come over to you and go, hey, watch that. That was borderline. I could have thrown a flag there, okay? You be careful, young man. And they warn them so much that it tames them down a little bit. It leashes them. It leashes that dog a little bit, and they're not going after people and really drilling people in football like they used to. And then also with the spread of CTE and the knowledge of it, that's also made a lot of football players a little more cautious, a little bit more hesitant in how they hit and how hard they hit, which is a shame because, and I mean that seriously, it's a shame that football has been changed by CTE. I'm looking right in the camera. I'm not blinking. I know this will seem like a hot take to some of you, but I will explain it. And again, I will do it briefly. And I know people tend to laugh at me like my wife does when I say that because I'm almost never brief. But here's the thing. CTE, okay, has affected how many guys? A lot of people have had it. Most recently, one of those people that had it was one of the Niners. He was only 24 years old. He was killed in a car accident. Now, it was a very unfortunate thing, God rest his soul, but it was fortunate for us. See, but for football and for doctors, because what they were able to do is they were able to look at his brain and his body and figure out how much CTE he had experienced at only 24, having only played 1, maybe 2 years, I think it was, in the NFL, and that's it. No, I think he was 1 season. I think he only got in 1 season with the Niners, and that's it. And then he was killed. So they go into his brain, they do the surgery, and they find CTE, and he's swimming in it. That's the term they used. They said at only 24 years old, he was swimming in CTE. Now, I can tell you that after that diagnosis and after them having seen that, and remember, he was dead because you can't, we have no tests for CTE yet. There's no way to determine if a person has CTE other than being able to do an autopsy when they're dead. So that's why I said it was a blessing, forgive me for saying that, but it was a blessing that he did pass away so young, because it gave us more data into the idea of, does CTE build up as you're playing football, or could it be there from just one whack? You see what I'm saying? We don't know. Well, now we have a little bit more information. Now we know that you can literally be swimming in CTE and haven't even barely made it to the NFL. He was taking it from hits in the high school and college level and built all that up. And yet he hurt no one. He didn't break the law. He didn't abuse his fiance. He loved her to death, and she loved him to death, and talked all the time about what a wonderful man he was. His parents, his friends, all went on and on about how great the guy was. Now, do you see where I'm going? See, you can have CTE, and you don't necessarily turn into a killer, like which has happened with some people who've been diagnosed with CTE. You don't necessarily commit suicide, which we know some people with CTE have done. But we also have quite a few cases also of people who passed away, had CTE, and they didn't do anything. Or at least, anything weird. You know what I mean? They were fine right to the end, had their minds about them, went about business, took care of bank accounts, loved family members, remembered their names, and then they passed away one way or another. And then when they did the autopsy, CTE everywhere. But that's not, but the point is you don't know how people are going to react to it. And you don't know if it's going to make you into some killer. And the statistics side with me, because the amount of people that have done any sort of violent or extreme incident from CTE is minuscule. It's minuscule, just a handful of guys compared to thousands of guys since way back in the early 50s that have been playing NFL football and didn't show up one day and shoot their wife and kill a friend or something like that. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, God rest his soul. It's a sensitive topic, and I don't mean to seem to be belittling any of it. So my apologies if I seem that way. I don't. But it just seems to me, let these guys have their careers. Let them have their lives. Whether they're CTE or not, they don't even know. It can happen literally from one hit. The doctors are saying that then it can spew out all over the body to protect the brain as a reaction. And then you go about your life playing the game, and you don't get those crazy extreme hits. So you don't get any more of it. It doesn't build up more, but you already have it, like a kid only 24 years old had. And yet he had no adverse effects, though. And we act like CTE is a death sentence, and we shouldn't. It's not, because we know now, the numbers say you can go through a whole career, have CTE, and you don't do anything wrong. Pete Almeida, hello, R8RBEAR Bear. It's been a while, brother. Due to my work schedule, I love watching your show, though. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show, man. That handlebar mustache is dope, man. You got that thing crispy. Bear, I beg to differ. It's Josh McPendejo. So true, Bear. Actions show you're right. Exactly. David Sosnowski, Bear, good to see you when it all settles. Which quarterback do you think we draft, and who's the starting quarterback in 2024? It'll be Jimmy Garoppolo, David Sosnowski. I'm going to say this out loud because I'm afraid to keep thinking it and not say it. So, so I'm just going to spit it out. I have said it a couple times, but I don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo to not get hurt and just collect the insurance money that's guaranteed to him. It just seems to me it makes more sense. I mean, literally, I think it makes more business sense for him to wait until week 4 and then just grab your hip and go, and just fall to the ground. Reenacted in slow-mo. But seriously, and I was serious. But seriously, I think he'll do that. I just do. I think he's closer to the end than the beginning. He's a supermodel. He wants to start doing TV. This was one way to get one more last big contract. And that's it. I think he's done after this. I really do. I don't see Jimmy Garoppolo as a guy traveling around the league trying to find another starting job or be someone's backup. I just don't see it. He's already made a ton of money. He's going to walk away here soon, especially with his injury history. He's just going to walk away here soon. But with us, having said that, with us, I think there's a very good chance that because he's back with a coach he's super familiar with, okay, the coach he's worked with the most and understands his offense already, he could come right in and be great. And if we get him an offensive line and we can actually protect him, guys, he really could do some things with this offense. And more importantly, the idea that he can't throw the deep ball at all, that's silly. He can throw the deep ball. It's just that he's reluctant to throw the deep ball. So people think he's not good at it. And then the few instances you have him doing it, there are times when he struggled with it, but that was in the Niners offense, an offense that he was learning for the first time when he had always only ever known the Patriots offense. Then by the time he got there and they realized he wasn't that comfortable and they were having a hard time acclimating him, they honed down the defense the second year he was there to be a little bit more of a running attack. And then after that, he was all but off the team. Israel Duran, what's up? Welcome to the show. Tony Make It Dip, what's up? Denton Rhodes, what's up? Space Force. Yeah, hold on. Tanamoku, yeah, but they not only got more picks, they got 3/3. Yeah, exactly. I think we're going to make moves there. I think those third round picks are going to pay dividends, the thirds and the fives. Tony Make a Dip said, this is not a quarterback draft, to be honest with you. I don't want to agree with you, but I do. I think all of these guys, the first two guys to me are both too small. I don't like, even though CJ Stroud's got a little bit more muscle, I hate Bryce Young. I just hate him. I just hate his body. And you guys all remember back to Mighty Mouse with the Cardinals. You know what I mean? I said it before he was drafted. I said, I don't care what he's done at the college level. He's small. And when you're small, you don't succeed at the NFL level. You just don't. Yeah, Miguel Garcia, if we rank 15th, we'll be in the playoffs for sure. For sure. If we can get a 15th ranked defense, we're in the playoffs for sure. Corinna Trujillo, I like Mariota too, but the problem with Mariota is never going to change. He wasn't given the base skills going into the NFL. Now trying to learn them at the NFL level, he has improved. I think his time with John Gruden actually really, paid a lot of dividends on him. But now moving forward, he then had his shot with Atlanta, his second shot. Because remember, with the Titans, he was given a shot. They got rid of him. He went to the Raiders. That wasn't a shot. That was an opportunity to be a backup and learn about the tools of becoming a quarterback, which he did, I think, in my opinion. But then when he took his skill set to Atlanta, it still wasn't enough. You know what I mean? He may understand the things he has to do now, but is he comfortable doing them? He doesn't look comfortable to me. Johnny Page, Tim Tebow did try to be a tight end there at the end. I know you don't feel like that counts because it was at the end. You know what I mean? He was out of shape and he was already completely retired for a while at that point. But I think if you scouted him as a tight end when you brought him in at that time, he was so famous and people so expected that he was going to have a good career as a quarterback that the hype was so behind him being this legendary quarterback from Florida that I don't think Tim Tebow would have allowed for a team to turn him into a tight end at that point. All right. All right. Listen, I really appreciate you all for tuning in. Much love. Arnold Olorvida. Arnold Olorvida. I like it. I don't know whose character I'm questioning. Who are you asking me about? If you mean, am I questioning the character of an Anthony Richardson? To a certain extent, I do. Not in the way that whether he's a good or bad person. It's not that. I would question his character in the sense of, is he going to develop to be something more? Or does he think that he has what he needs already? Okay, Jimmy. Arnold, only because I can't say your name well, I'm saying Arnold, but welcome to the show. I know I butchered it and I apologize. Olorvita. Olorvita. Is that right? Olorvita? I love that. I'm not questioning Jimmy's character. I mean, I guess I am, because I mean, obviously, if he were to do that, that would mean he was a low character. But none of us will be able to prove that he did it on purpose. So I'm already accounting for that. I can't question his character, because then I would be saying I was sure that he was faking it, and I'm not, because Jimmy Garoppolo has an injury history. Not only does he have an injury history, he has an injury history of getting injuries without being hit. So he blew out his knee the year he missed a season. He wasn't even hit. Arnold's holding me up to it. I did. I said right when he right when he parked his Ferrari in the parking lot, and he's going to step out of his car and go, ah! And right there, he's going to claim his check. But I don't think he has that. I think he's really got to go out on the field and actually play in a game. So that was the only reason why I was sticking with that. Alexa, resume. Oh, all right. That's my show. Much love. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force. For all you do, the energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice, active and veteran. Much love. R8RBEAR! Let's go. And I do agree with most when they say trade back. Trade back just sounds like the smartest thing to do. We just have too many places we need to look at, too many places we need help. I would move back. I would. I don't think there's anyone at 7 that really changes our life. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's a quarterback or a defensive end, whatever, I just don't think there's anyone in the first round at 7. Carter, maybe, but then with the character issues, he was speeding. You know what I mean? He did plead no contest, and he is acting like, everyone leave me alone. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. They may be right that he might be a little bit of a character issue. Who knows? All right, that's my show. Much love. I'll see you tomorrow night at 8. R8RBEAR family page.